Hello and welcome to the weekly analysis for GBPUSD for the very last week of September 2013. And before we go into the analysis, I want to quickly run a quick review of what's happened in the past week. If you remember, if you had watched that video, you will remember what I'm about to say, that there was a weekend gap created in the past week, and price was unable to cover that gap, and we made some projections, and well, we were like price was going to reach 6014 or thereabout, but dramatically, due to the Fed tapering issue, which was, in my opinion, overbloated, price, GBPUSD was oversold. It sold more than necessary. So GBPUSD reached a almost more than 8 months high at 1.6164 and returned. Okay, so and after reaching that, it struggled to maintain price at that level, and by the end of the week on Friday, the price was forced to close at 1.6008, creating a shooting star like pattern. Okay, now on the daily time frame, it created a dark cloud cover and a continuation on the second day, which was Friday. Okay, now let's quickly move on to the preview for the last week of the month of September. I'm sure if you had followed our guide, you probably would have made at least some little profit. Okay, now in the coming week, first I will start with this daily time frame. We have a dark cloud cover formed here, and Friday is showing us. Thursday, Wednesday formed dark cloud cover, and Friday gave a continuation pattern, bearish continuation pattern. So there is a bearish trend in place right now on GBPUSD as we enter into the last week of the month of September, based on the information there. And on the weekly time frame, this is to me a shooting star, and we will be expecting price to go down in the last week. Now, further confirmation I need for this is that we can check the COT reports. All right, the COT reports on GBP. Now, from the COT reports, we see here that 44,124 long contracts and 50,434 short contracts by the speculators, and while the change in open interest is 11,203 for the long positions and minus 20,653 for short positions. So the trend determinants, that's the speculators, are still somewhat bullish. They are still bullish on the GBP. However, open interest is saying a different thing. Open interest is negative, minus 43,698 change in open interest, negative. So with this negative open interest, the non-commercial traders are wrong on the trend at this time. But for the commercial traders are strongly bearish. If you see here, you see that here you have 59,423 long positions against 62,078. And from the change in commitments from September 10th, we have the long non-commercial traders holding a negative balance of 53. That's the change is minus 53,237, while for short position it's minus 14,048. So with this and the negative open interest, we can conclude that GBP will be strongly bullish, will be strongly bearish in the coming week. That's the last week of September. Okay, so having sorted that out, our trend, our bias when it comes to the trend for the last week of September is bearish. So we'll be bearish in the coming week of September. All right, now next thing is to determine our key levels, and from NForex 5 points calculator we've done already. We have using the high of 1.6164 recorded in the past week and the low of 1.5887, close price of 1.6008 and the open at 1.5938. We have generated these key levels already. Here we have 1.602 for pivot point, floor pivot point, and 6017 for woodies. Now we will be working with these two. For Camarilla, well, Camarilla in between. In the opening week, we are expecting, also considering the German elections holding this weekend, we anticipate that a weekend gap may be created. So if it does, all well and good. But then whatever, we are looking at this pivot point serving as resistance to price in the coming week. The first level of resistance price will test, and a failure there, if price fails to break it, then I see it going to test the Camarilla buy at 1.5932. So positioning to buy at 1.5932 may be ideal. Now if you check here, you see the max pivot points is showing buy at, that's the support at 1.5947. So 1.5947, 1.5932, there are, to me, strong levels to buy, but that buy shouldn't be something you hold for a long time. And then selling, which is for me more of the bias for the week, at 1.6020. all right, we have a complement at 1.6017 with the woodies. Okay, now if it breaks above that, of course the other strong sell area is at 1.6084 for the Camarilla sell. Okay, that done. So we can mark that on our chart. I now know the price of where we're going to be selling and buying. But in addition to this, we could quickly pull in the Fibonacci retracement level. Now, being that we have spotted a bearish reversal here, so I'm going to draw Fibonacci on a bearish market. So I'm going to pick from the high of this here. So based on the fall from the top level at 1.6164 down to the low it recorded thereafter on Friday, that's at 1.5988. okay, we now have the following key levels by Fibonacci: 1.6030 for 23.6 retracement, and 6055 for 38.2 retracement, and 1.6076 for 50%, and 61 now, if you 61 1.6097 for 61.8 retracement. Remember please that in the past week, price on Friday tried so much to break above 1.607 and failed. So in the coming week, Monday, Tuesday, Monday in particular, Sunday night, Monday, we expect the price will open below below the 1.6030. That's Fibonacci retracement 23.6, based on the fall from 1.6164 down to 1.65988. okay, so on that basis, a sell order can be initiated around 1.6017 to 1.6030. That's the first sell of the week for us, and by the time it drops down to the level at 1.593247, we will be buying, and between that place and 47 we'll be buying. And when we buy, we may now expect it to go and test, because by then it may gather enough momentum to go and test up here at 6097, noting that 6097, that's 1.8 retracement, tends to have an agreement with the Camarilla sell at 1.6084. so that will be our bias for the coming week. We will be bearish, but we'll pick a little buy and then finally do some major selling. All right, that will take us into the month of October. I want to believe that this is going to help you, but please take note that in the month of October, which I'll be talking about when we'll be discussing on what our bias and concern will be for the month of October, I'll be giving a little more details into the first position on the US dollar come the month of October. But for this week, we'll be remaining bearish, and I want to wish you a wonderful and highly profitable trading week ahead. God bless you. My name is Ifan Uche from Nara for Gold. Thank you, and God bless you.